Good evening, everyone.
What's up, Paul? How you doing tonight, brother?
Oh man, it's been a day. Been a week
It
for you
is.
though, too, right?
No, it's been hell, man. It's I get there's like the initial excitement, right? I get an email, not an email, but like an actual message. It's like what my like CMO, like my guy who's in charge of all like the pricing and like supply chain and all that. I'm getting a call from them at like 9 o'clock at night, like, oh my God, there's this huge spike. Like, what's going on? What happened with Iconic Arcade? I'm like, hey guys, that's normal. Like, hey, all the sales are going out. And then that high quickly drops down as it's like, Kevin B. Kirby doesn't have his order. Jay Pace hasn't received an order update. Israel still hasn't gotten his cab. Kevin, this is Paul. Where the fuck's my cabinet at? You know what I mean? It's just like an onslaught, and these are all true stories, right? So,
that may or may not have been the case. Like every hour on the hour for
every
the past
hour,
3.5 days.
100%. So, let's go in. Let's jump in and. Let's say hi to the folks who are here. I'll give everybody an update, and if there's anyone who's still got an issue with their order, we'll give you some sort of remediation steps so that you can get in touch with me and get answers. And I believe we've got some pretty cool folks hanging out in the green room right now.
Yeah,
with Josh Dendy just being a hall monitor back there, making sure everyone's well behaved.
That's as he does. But yeah, I mean, Kevin, if you wouldn't mind running through some of our who we got in the chat tonight, I'm gonna just kind of do some backstage stuff here and try to get everybody lined up a while.
Yeah, because it's been crazy. But Israel in the house, what's up, brother? I am sorry that you are having an issue with your cab. I love you, and I sent you your tracking. I hope you get it super soon. Wafflehead, what's good? Shit for brains. That's how I felt all week this week. Yep, people are receiving them, man. It's the exciting part. Josh Dendy, never actually first. Good to be here. Crane Live. Let's continue to go. See, I like that. Everyone just says let's go or let's effing go. Let's continue, right? Let's not stop. Awesome.
Yeah, we never stopped. It's just instead of let's go, it's just let's continue.
Dre Gott in the house. What's up, brother? Hungry Wolf Guru. Hey, everybody. Mine should be arriving on Saturday. I'm really excited. You should be. It's going to be a good time. Vic Vicious asking the question that we never answer. Good job, bud. Triumph or die. Good to see you. Neo's Arcade News. Can't stand you. Only want to talk to you once a week.
Triumph
or die. CPM, how you doing? Jay. I saw you were having issues, man. I know your order is shipped. It's moving. It's actually scheduled for delivery on Friday. Life is good for you, my brother. Cornercade, in with the head count. Thanks, brother. Letting us know how excited the people are. Tim York, time to go inside. That's what I told her. Dark Tech Kelly, what is good? I think Dark Tech our first merch purchase? Is that something you sent me, Paul?
Yeah, I sure did. So I hope you don't mind that, Dark Tech. But I was kind of like, hey, look, somebody bought our crap.
Hey, he's taking the challenge seriously. I said I don't want to go into a bathroom at a truck stop in America and not see our stickers on the bathroom walls. So,
hey, but I will
Dark Tech's taking the first steps there.
I want to put a quick PSA out there for folks because I got my first sample. I ordered samples of a whole bunch of stuff, and I got my first sweatshirt in. And the embroidery was all over the place. I'm pretty sure whatever robot did it was a blind robot, if there's such a thing.
It looked like it was stitched with a Roomba. Honestly, like that's the level of robot that
just
did
bumping
the
into
stitching.
corners and going back and forth.
Hold off on the. I ordered a hat, so we'll see if the hats did any better this week. Rocking the Popeyes chicken and biscuits. If you were here last week.
We got a little bit of shine there on the logo. I can't quite see it. There it is.
Chicken and biscuits. We love it. All right.
Represent.
B. Kirby, I am so sad that you don't have your cab yet, brother, but I'm keeping you updated in the background. Retro Day, it has arrived. Bring on the rest. It's going to be awesome, man. It is going to be awesome. Stanzy B. Kevin, is Spreetail the drop shipping on all these cabs that are selling on eBay at a low price? I did have a discount running on eBay for a little bit there. You can always tell if it's Spreetail because it will say Spreetail as the seller. So if it says Spreetail as the seller, you can be pretty sure it probably won't have an issue with it. I think that's about as confident as I can be after this week. I don't even know if we know how to ship boxes anymore. Oh my goodness. End of the line. What's good? My cock hurts. So does mine. Good Lord. Thumper Squid in the house. Bobby, I didn't order. Where's my cab? It's in my warehouse, man. Get your order in. You got this. Moat is upset that no one has accidentally shipped him an Alpha 2 cab yet. Well, the week's not over yet, Mike, and I've seen crazy shit left and right, so keep your fingers crossed. Someone's order could accidentally get shipped to your house still.
It might be mine.
Emily, she's just here to see Ryan.
Yeah.
Good job. Hopefully we can make your dreams come true, Emily. That's what we're here for. Jim Pacers fan, what's good? Cornercade, who's Ryan? Shut your mouth, young man. Tim York. Let's see. I think I've gotten through just about everybody. After all the pre-orders are sent, how much of that stock will be made available via Home Depot? Let's look at it. Let's figure it out. Triumph or Die in the house. Phoenix. Biggie D, there you are. I was wondering when I was going to see you. Charlie Murphy. Yeah, mine didn't make it today. Someone at FedEx didn't want to have it. It's a big boy. You're not kidding. For all the people who've received it and taken that thing in, you're gonna earn that, especially if you got steps in your future. I think Krypton, what's up, my dudes? Retro Ron received my order today. Very awesome, dude. Very cool. I think we are caught up with the shorthanded way I just did all that.
Nice. That works.
If I missed you, I'm sorry. It's probably because I'm an idiot, but I didn't mean to. PBJ Racing, beast of a box and 100-pound delivery person. Oh gosh!
Wow,
that's terrible. That's terrible. That person was hating their job today for sure.
Jeez.
All right, I think
Jay
I'm caught up. I did it.
I think we're
Paul.
pretty well. Jay asked if I got my shipping notification. I did this afternoon. I got it, and it's supposedly coming Saturday. So I don't know if anybody can beat that. If anybody's pushing for Sunday or Monday, but yeah, Saturday. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So quick update on all that. All the orders in our system have processed and shipped. So we did run into a software snag that should have really only affected people who were part of the partial shipment. Third-party software can be a bitch, and it created some extra lines of code that our software team had to go back in and recode, and it was basically creating phantom part numbers. So that was a nightmare, but our team was working literally till like 8, 9 o'clock every night trying to get that code right. So if we weren't talking, it's because we were talking to each other trying to solve the problem. That said, if you still have not gotten an update, if you're still like, where the hell's my shit? Drop your order number in the chat here. Josh Dendy will be tracking all those for me. And I will literally go in before I go to bed tonight and make sure that anyone who drops their order number in, I'll go through our system and tell you exactly where your order is. Everyone who's reached out to me, I've gotten a response out to them, let them know tracking information, when it gets scanned out of our warehouse, as up to date as I can possibly give you, which is extremely up to date. So happy to keep helping you out there for anyone who had a bad experience. So I do want to say that I'm sorry. This was an exciting experience, and I'm sorry that yours got off to a less than exciting experience, but we're here to get you over the finish line. Have a good time. So that's the update for Iconic. We also do have another update for Basic Fun, aka Arcade 1-Up. They are officially now doing direct-to-customer sales through their website. So for all the people who've been like, man, how come I'm having to go through these other people instead of dealing directly with the brand? They heard you, they prioritized it, and any Arcade 1-Up title that you want to get, we'll be able to start pulling those straight from their website. And you can kind of have that direct with the brand relationship. A lot of people I know value that. So
Nice.
Just wanted to let you know that in honor of May the 4th, which is coming right up around the corner. They do have the Star Wars cab drop down to $550. So if that was one you were looking at, that's down a bit from where it was before. But those are all my businesses that I had to talk about. And Paul, I think there's exciting things in the near future here.
Yeah, well, I do want to ask: is that with Basic Fun shipping, ordering directly from their website? Who's fulfilling that? Is that
It's still us.
awesome? Okay.
Yeah, it's still us. So it's all through Shopify. But I think the reason we like that is if we're going to do, let's say, a pre-order in the future, our goal is that we're able to kind of do pre-orders through their website. Then if there's questions or updates or what's going on, they have an incredible customer service team. You'll be able to work directly with the brand on any of those questions. That was kind of one of the biggest feedbacks that I've gotten over the past year is. Besides Spreetail sucks, which love you guys too. But besides that feedback, people are really hungry to, deal directly with the brand as much as possible, get their information directly from the brand.
Yeah.
So they're definitely stepping up in a big way to kind of reestablish that relationship. So kudos to them for doing that. So,
Well, and I do think historically, when there haven't been, pre-orders, discounts, whatever other sort of complicating factors, the shipping from Spreetail has actually been very, very quick. So, yeah, I think that'll end up being a good thing for most people. But anyway, speaking of getting it direct from the source, we've got some guests tonight that are the source. We're celebrating the Iconic Arcade launch tonight, so I'd say probably a good percentage of the people that pre-ordered one now have it, whether or not it's been assembled. That may be a whole other conversation, but people are getting them, they're assembling them, they're posting about them, and we're thrilled to be able to have some folks joining us tonight. So I'm just going to bring them right in as soon as I unmute them, because I've learned from the past that unmuting people is a good thing. There we go. Now they're unmuted. Hey, there they are. There's the crew.
Hello.
Live and semi in person. But so this is the group from Media1Up. As you guys know, John D is Media1Up, and these are some of the core guys that John's been working with to bring these ideas to life. So really quickly, if you guys wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves for people who maybe don't know who you are. I think a few people know some of you, but Ryan, I'm seeing you on the screen first. Would you kind of just give us a 30 seconds of who you are and kind of maybe how you're involved in the project?
Sure. I'm the software engineer behind the Arcadia 20XX platform. So basically, as soon as you hit start, you're seeing the software that I put together to run the games on these cabinets. And it's pretty much been what I've been living and breathing for quite a while now. So I'm glad to see people finally getting them and getting to enjoy what I've been working on.
That's awesome. And I want to spend a lot more time on that, probably even later in the show. But Bobby, go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Clean like so much there you can get to die for the Arcade Insider. Woo! Let's go. Arcade's back, baby. Big day for us.
It is a big day. Bobby, what's, in a nutshell, what's your involvement?
Big arcade modders, community, know who I am. I can't do it now.
I'm having trouble hearing Bobby. Is it just me or?
Yeah, a little
else?
trouble there, Bobby. So I'll tell you what, we're going to let Sean go ahead and introduce himself. If you want to just check your, see if you got mic that you can switch to, we'll go ahead and we'll let Sean introduce us. And Sean, by the way, cannot stay for the entire program. He's across the pond, and it's what time is it, Sean? It's like 1 something?
1:15 in the morning. That's what
Oh Lord!
So thank you very much for joining us. But
ready to fall
actually,
asleep.
Sean, you and I have been in touch for a while now. Before I even knew that you were involved in the project, we were having discussions about artwork and other things. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. This guy's doing a whole lot more than I ever realized. So, Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind and kind of tell us how you've been involved in the project.
Yeah, I'm Sean. I've been working with John. We realised for about 2 years now on when we first started working on the Street Fighter design. So my role has been to do the physical cabinet design, everything you can see and touch, the dimension, the shape, sizes, and the artwork.
Awesome. Well, I kind of just want to start with you, Sean, because I know you've got you got to get up early and you're already up late. So, yeah. But I definitely want to hear your sort of take on things. We're kind of going to go back at some point to where it all started, but you've been so involved in the artwork, and obviously that's a critical part of these machines for a lot of us fans that really want this kind of nostalgic look and feel. What's your philosophy, or kind of like how do you approach a project like this? I know you've been working on it for about 2 years now, so maybe bring us into that.
Yeah, so the cabinet design comes first. And what I would normally do is take the original HS, like for Street Fighter, take the original HS1, take a equivalent home arcade, and find the balance of what we want ours to be. So John always had in his head what he wanted the XT line to look like, the size, the shape. So it was kind of shaping that HS1 to that image so that he could physically see something on his screen about what he wanted to look like. Once that was done, because we were dealing with things like Street Fighter, which never had dedicated cabinets, so it was my decision to make the full-sided artwork. For some people's happiness, other people hate it, but whatever. And it was just because to give that game its own persona. They never had one, so it was previously a conversion poster on a black cabinet. Everything is from the conversion poster, so I've never just used artwork that doesn't belong on that game, but it's about taking that conversion poster and making it full size as if it had its own game originally. So that's kind of how I approach it. But everything was rescanned from original, new, old stock arcade machines. So it was either sourcing original arcade machines or sourcing new, old stock of control panels, marquees, etc. to try and make it as accurate as possible.
Well, and I know there was some, obviously there's some voting involved in the World Warrior cabinet. Tell me your involvement with that and your thoughts on it, because obviously that's kind of a controversial thing. And
I certainly didn't mind the feedback being good or bad. Like, that's fine. But I think I did learn that having it led by committee doesn't work. Everybody has a different view.
Right.
I talked to Michael B, or I talked to Fox, or I talked to B Kong, and they all said the same thing. They want something different, but everyone's different isn't the same. So it was just kind of ended up more complicated to try and tick everyone's boxes, really. But I think we did end up with the best art on it possible, so I'm happy that it happened. But I think in future maybe not go down the voting route.
Was that what was your guns? Probably, but I mean, what was your favorite personally? Since you're into, you know, I know you had some separate things going on. We were all kind of like collaborating, but
I had no preference, so I did multiple designs for it. So the reason I went with the big obnoxious Street Fighter 2 on the side was because it is an obnoxious looking game. That's the whole point of the artwork. It's bold pinks, yellows, and I wanted that logo to be obnoxious because that's what it looks like to me. And then there was other feedback, like there was too many logos, and I'm looking at it again, it's the same amount of logos as the original, there's no extra logos on there, so all the feedback just kind of kept contradicting each other from different people, and it's just because people want different things.
So
some people want their memory, some people want something that looks great, some people want something that looks great to them but doesn't look great to others, so it's just finding a balance that keeps everyone happy.
Would you consider yourself a purist? I know a lot of what you do, kind of separate from Media1Up and Iconic, relates to restorations. Would you consider yourself someone who generally prefers that original art, or do you feel like interpretations are just as valid? Kind of where do you fall on that?
If it's a game that had original art and it had original full-size artwork, then 100% has to be identical. If it's a game that has a conversion poster, then I feel there's a bit of room for liberties. If it's a game like Donkey Kong, for instance, or Ghouls and Ghosts, that had a poster, but it was cut to a certain shape, the artwork was designed around the shape, then that 100% needs to stay. That wouldn't be changed. But when you have just a square poster that was used to slap on any old cabinet in the arcades, I'm gonna play with it a bit.
I think that's fair. I mean, you and I have had discussions about some of the versions that Arcade 1-Up in the past, not the current owners, we'll say, but even down to like Mortal Kombat, and the differences that you found and that bothered you about the sort of versions that they went with, or the reproduction quality, or whatever it might be. And I was kind of floored by some of those details that I think a lot of people didn't even pick up, but you were. So
it's not necessarily that I picked it up, it's just that this artwork doesn't exist, so it's not like Midway are sitting on scans of original artwork. It was never made on a computer in the first place. It would have been a big screen printed image. So they just don't have it. So for Arcade 1-Up to get it, they would have to go and scan an original cabinet, And either they use a conversion poster because it's much easier to scan, but the conversion poster isn't always the same as the full side art, like Mortal Kombat 2 is a good example, or they would find whatever is freely available online, which isn't always the best quality, but it's the only quality they can get. Killer Instinct Pro was a good example of that. The picture of Spinal was very low resolution because that's all that's available. Right. So unless you go to someone like me or one of the other vendors that have gone and scanned that cabinet, you're not going to just come across that artwork, unfortunately.
So that leads me directly into the Alpha 2 artwork in particular. We kind of did a good probably 20, 30 minutes one episode just talking about the details of that, because at one point there was some discussion about is it grainy, is it pixelated, or whatever. Tell me your thoughts on that. Was that an original scan that you did? Where'd that come from?
That was scanned from a Capcom book. One of the anniversary books, which has loads of Capcom artwork in it. And it's because the original paintings were hand painting on a canvas, and that's where that detail comes from. So if that detail was there originally, I'm not going to soften or diffuse it out to make it look cleaner. I'll keep the detail as it is.
And another detail that was shared, I'll say relatively early on, was related to the control panel overlay and the sort of the detail, especially in that kind of I don't know what you call that texture, sort of that pebbly, not granite, but
like
that
a camo texture. It's a very small camo texture.
Right, and some people said their preference might have been for more of that metallic. I forget what you call it, but that kind of like almost X symbol.
The diamond plate.
The diamond plate. Thank you. Yes. What are your thoughts on that? Where'd that come from? Was that from Darkstalkers, or was that from another Capcom?
No, that is from the one we used was Alpha 2. So Capcom didn't have dedicated panels per game. They would have eras. So they would release that panel for, say, a certain year, and anything released in that year would have that panel along with their own button icons. So Darkstalkers would have had a different button icon set to Alpha 2. So the era that Alpha 2 came out, it would have been the camo pattern. There were two designs. There was a grey and black and the grey, blue and black. So we went with the grey, blue and black just because it was a bit more colourful than just the basic.
Oh, that's very cool. I didn't realize it was by era. I always thought it was by title. That's interesting.
No, so Diamond Plate covered things like X-Men vs Street Fighter. The problem is vendors used to just stick one control panel on and leave it. So whatever Capcom title comes in next would be put in that machine. They'd replace the marquee, maybe some bezel instructions, but the diamond plate would still be there because it was quite common.
Okay. Well, there we go. I learned something. So I know you're involved in a lot of projects. You've got obviously Double Dragon coming up. Any thoughts on that project and how that process has gone for you?
Much easier. Double Dragon was very quick to design in comparison to Street Fighter because we'd already nailed down what we wanted the XT cabinets to be. So when the decision was made to go with Double Dragon, it was very quick to design. I knew the dimensions straight away. I knew everything that I wanted to do. I already had the CAD for the original Double Dragon cabinets, so it was a case of taking that CAD, reapplying it to those XT dimensions and bring it in line. So we wanted to make sure that your XT cabinets can also fit in your home arcade with what you already have, your deluxes, your XLs, and also fit with full-size arcades. So it's very quick to, something like Double Dragon was very quick transition.
Well, and it's interesting. So I know you didn't just, I shouldn't say only do the artwork because I don't want to downplay the importance of that, but you also had obviously a hand in the actual design. So I'm going to pull up here quickly, just sort of, you talked about the size and the scale. Fortunate enough to be able to receive some images here that kind of compare some of what that looks like. So maybe give us some of your thought process. I mean, you prepared the original CAD files, correct, for some of these?
Yeah, so all the 3D design for Street Fighter and Double Dragon, it was what I started with. So that's what, when John comes to me and says we want to do title XYZ, I'll go and model it up in 3D. That 3D then gets fleshed out with control panels, your bezel, everything like that, and then starts getting split apart for production. So where all the wooden panels are, where all the screws might be. But the initial 3D design is what we go off, and then that gets worked on at the factory. So when we did these renders, this was quite early on. We wanted to see how it compared to your typical home arcades that most of you guys have probably got at home already. You can see like the control panel is the same height. Arcade 1-Up's always had the control panel at the right height. They're exactly the same as a Midway Mortal Kombat 2, for instance, and that's a very common cab that everyone's played. At Gen 1 Arcade 1-Up on a riser, the control panel is the same height as that. So the control panel was never a problem where it's situated. But the bezel sitting quite vertically makes it very difficult for you to see because you're hunched over a lot more than what you would be on the XT, because we angled the screen back slightly and angled the control panel forward because of the HS1. So it just allows you to play more comfortably because of those angles.
And I think, you know, like you said, sort of fitting in with your existing collection is a big deal for a lot of people. So maybe talk to me a little bit more about that. I'm going to kind of pull up some more of these renders here as we talk, but I know there's also discussion regarding sort of like weight and shipping, you know, not being able to go past a certain limit before you kind of get into the next tier of shipping costs. But what else kind of factored into the overall dimensions, including you've got greater depth now, not just the height and the width of the control panel, but you've also got depth added where we didn't have as much before. So yeah, talk me through more of that, if you would, in terms of those other dimensions as well that are maybe less noticeable.
So when we designed the CES model, it was narrow. It was 23 inches wide in total, 23 and a quarter. So that includes your side panels, not just the control panel. We made the decision to go wider because A, we could fit the widescreen monitor in, which gives you slightly bigger 4:3 screen in the middle, but B, because we found that the two players were still too cramped. One of the decisions very early on was it has to be playable by two adults, just like an original. And in the end we said, why not make it exactly the same width as the original? I think it's 2mm shorter, so it's marginal. And I wanted to make sure that your control stick, your buttons are of exactly the same spacing as the original HS1. So there is no compromise. If someone says they can't play two adults on this, they wouldn't have been able to on the original HS1 as well. It's exactly the same.
Wow.
The only slight difference is the controls are slightly left aligned on the control panel, and that was to allow room inside for some of the fixtures. But the spacing between stick, button, and then buttons to the next stick is identical. And it also mirrors the original Mortal Kombat because that had the same spacing as the HS1 as well. And they were big cabinets, right? Everyone could play those. So that was the goal all along, was to try and make this playable by two players. For the depth, it just came down to making it look right. So you could make it slimmer, like the Slim KDs, but it wasn't what we wanted. It wasn't what John wanted the XT to be. It wanted to be a representation of the original, so it had to be deeper. Obviously, the depth on these is quite unnecessary because it's just filled with empty space.
Right.
But it makes it look like a full-size arcade in your home rather than a cut-down arcade.
Did fitting the artwork on the side, like when you're looking at it compared to a Slim Katie like this, the artwork is always compromised on the Slim Katie, unless it was just
so
completely
much
blank.
easier.
Yeah.
There's not a huge amount of work to do with the artwork when you're going from an original HS1 to this one. It's some of the angles are slightly different because we are slightly shallower, and some of the angles around the bezel were slightly different because we wanted a bit more visibility of the screen. But at the same time, it's so close, it's very easy to transition one piece of art to these ones.
I do like one of the first things we noticed when we were playing it at my house was that width call out and the two-player functionality. So like when we're playing Knights of the Round or something, it's actually wide enough that my boy, who's only 9 years old, he sits up on a stool. So like he's sitting sideways on a stool next to me, and we're comfortably playing just like we would be playing together in an arcade, right? So
Good.
that was a brilliant, that spacing. If you haven't really explored that, that was a brilliant decision to allow that, because it feels exactly like you're sitting in a full-size arcade playing like you would expect, with plenty of room. I'm not a little guy. People will tell you that all the time. So having that space was greatly appreciated.
Well, and Go
It
ahead,
wasn't
Sean.
a decision so much as it was just obvious to what we wanted to do. There wasn't like a how wide should we go. It was this is how wide the original is. We now can do that because we've had to use a wider screen. So now there's no reason not to. The only complication it caused originally is we were 67-inch at the CES model. Then when we stretched the cabinet horizontally, we then had a very narrow marquee and very wide bezels at the side, so it was then having to reshape it and then change it to 68-inch to give the marquee some extra room. So obviously if you just stretch everything, you have to resize your artwork, reshape your artwork. Some artwork just won't fit or look right if you do it that way. So everything we did was also designed for the future. So if we want to put another marquee in from another HS1 title, we're not having to reshape things. It should just fit because we stuck with the original HS1 dimensions, just scaled slightly.
That's smart. Yeah.
So definitely.
Speaking of a gorgeous marquee, I mean, that marquee is a showstopper. I mean, you walk in the room, it grabs your attention. It's a thing of beauty.
Especially if you take the film off.
From early on. Yeah, that helps. It was definitely a target from early on for the contrast on the marquee. Like, one of the key things you always see is people don't like washed out marquees. And the first one we really had where it was obvious we nailed it was the Double Dragon sample that Bobby put together for the show. And I had that printed by a guy over in the UK, a friend of mine called Ollie, who runs Arcade Art Shop, and he's got a very nice high-end UV printer, so we printed those and sent them over, and the quality that's what we used as a target for Street Fighter at that point. We knew that everyone was taken back by how good the contrast was on the blacks, so we had to make sure Street Fighter was just as good. So it took quite a few samples and testing with the factory to make sure that they nailed the contrast and the colours and the saturation and made sure that it was as good as we wanted.
Well, you nailed it. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think the first time I turned it on, it was just I couldn't stop just taking pictures of like every angle and sending it to people. Like this thing's a work of art. So you guys did a great job.
That's what we want to hear. That's why we put all the effort in to make people happy.
Hey man, you deserve the accolades. You know, you had a job, you nailed it. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
So now that you're, we'll kind of touch on this probably again later, but now that you're basically a full 2 years into, having worked on this project, among others that you've already got it in the works, did this inform anything related to what you'd be doing in the future in terms of either technique or, maybe small compromises you had to make for it to work, anything like that?
There's a few small changes for Double Dragon. I won't say what they are because the moment I point them out, people will hate what's on their cabinet that they've received.
That's always the way.
But there are certainly things that I would have done slightly differently. Nothing that impacts the game or the stability or build or anything like that, but just how I would shape certain things. But that has been addressed for Double Dragon, so
nice.
It was a learning curve. I'm also almost gutted that Street Fighter was our first game because it's such an iconic, the pun, title that you want it to be perfect, and you're always going to have things on your first release which aren't quite perfect. So I would have liked Street Fighter to be a bit further down the road a bit, but it's a bit of a marquee title to have as your first release, so I'm quite happy in that way as well.
Well, and we've all obviously had roughly a year and a half or so for most of us to contemplate what it might be in the final version. So yeah, that's a tough bar to kind of live up to. But I don't know if anybody, Kevin, if you had any other questions or thoughts for Sean. I want to keep him all night because I know he's got to get up early. But
no, I'd say the one thing I just wanted to know is from like a designing standpoint, like obviously as you're changing shape and different things, like you're going to run into unforeseen problems or challenges along the way. Like, were there any challenges that popped up while you were making this thing that you're like, oh fucking hell, man, like what's going on here? That you?
I'm sure it was all smooth sailing. I'm sure it was all perfect.
Nothing about this was smooth ever.
It wasn't like we had the challenge of the cease and desist, right? Everyone knows about that now. So we had a long pause where we weren't working on it after CES. But not really. There wasn't really any real challenges. It was a pretty solid design from the beginning, and that's, I don't mean that as in to credit me, but the HS1 is such a big cabinet and you've got so much room to work with. We're not really having to compromise space for anything really. Like I didn't have to squeeze artwork onto it. I didn't have to squeeze the control panel into such small tight boxes or anything. It was all pretty easy in that regard. So yeah, unfortunately there's no real drama around the design. I'm afraid there's nothing to give you.
Except for the voting, there was that.
The voting.
Well, except
We'll
for
never
voting.
do that again. That was wild.
No, you're getting what I give you and what I design, and it's staying. No, as I said earlier, I'm happy we did the vote. I think the cabinet looks better for it, so it's not a negative that we did it.
Yeah, and I haven't heard, honestly, after the dust settled on that, I don't recall seeing a lot of people saying like, I can't believe this is the one that was picked. Like, it sort of just kind of ended up being like, it's a good design. Yeah, okay, cool.
Well, and that was really like, unfortunately, all those votes like went right to my personal email box, which was the absolute worst way to manage a vote. So like everyone's writing out paragraphs on their thoughts, like for me to figure it out. And that was like generally it, like, well, if I had to pick, like I'd probably pick number 1, but like I also really like number 3, and I like how on number 4 it does that. You know, so it's like I think everyone was kind of in agreement that regardless of which one came out, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful looking cabinets. You know, so then it's just arguing over like, well, should the banding go this far down the top, or should it only be this far on the top? Like such minutia that we
it
could argue
became
forever.
such minor things. Like feedback was make this slightly bigger or this slightly change this color ever. Like it was all so minor that you just can't do everything to please everybody. I think if we'd have gone with the black cabinet with just the poster, it still would have looked fine, and it would have looked as it should have done. Like that is the right way to do it. I'm not in disagreement with anyone that thinks that it should be just as it should originally. But I don't think it's as striking. I don't think it's going to turn as many heads if it was just a black side art with a conversion poster.
Well, you kind of called it out originally too, and this was always my standpoint, which is it better that you mimic exactly the way it looked when you were in the arcade, or do you take a moment of license where it's possible and say, what was the vibe that they were going for? Like, what was the spirit of the cabinet that they were so limited that they couldn't capture that full spirit? And can we do that now because we have, artistic freedom? So I'm glad that we landed on the styles we did, and that
you do get artistic freedom to a degree, but it still needs to go through Capcom's approval. So if I design something that Capcom don't like, or they don't feel it fits the game, they would not approve it. So for me to have designed or taken their design, redesigned it into something, and then to be happy with it, it must have been on the right path. So I think we did okay.
Did you run it? I mean, obviously you can't talk about details, but did you run into any resistance with any of the designs along the way?
No, not that I'm aware of. John deals with all of that though, so I send them off to John, and he goes and argues with Capcom and comes back with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So there was nothing, no significant reworks in that regards.
Nice. Well, I'm not surprised. I thought they all looked great. I'm also not surprised that the voting was as spread out as it was, where there wasn't one clear winner, because they were all good designs. They were obviously different, but they were all very strong.
Well, and after seeing our chat every week, I can guarantee none of us agree on anything ever. That's the one thing we'll agree on.
I think that's what we learned.
For sure. Well, Sean, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Thank you for your hard work on this and the stuff to come. I know there's some exciting things that you would love to talk about if you could, and hopefully before too long we'll be able to. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
No, nothing. Just I hope you like what's coming in the future. Obviously, we all know Double Dragon's coming, so there should be some more announcements about when soon enough. But I think everyone's going to like what comes after that as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you again, Sean. We'll cut you loose, and
no, I'll stick around for the next 20 minutes or so in case.
You got 20 minutes. All right.
I'm here for 20 minutes, but move on to either Ryan or To Die For.
Yeah.
They've got more interesting stories than I do.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, I don't know do you want to chime in with anything related to the sort of prototype work, since we're talking about the art and design. I mean, I know in one case at least you had, was it a matter of like 2 days to do something? Tell us about some of how that went.
Oh, it was like a big rush. It's a last minute. Like Sean, he designed a double dragon cabinet, right? It's beautiful with no instructions. I had to use my modding skills, right? To to put this together, try to measurement, like how wide, how big, and
Oh
for
man.
every inch is counts, because what Sean sent me was a diagram of how it looks inside. So he gave me a little vision, right? To put this together, no screw holes, nothing. It was all like I had to make my own screw holes and everything myself, and I managed, and with the help of Sean, of course, to give me the vision to analyze it, where it goes what and what's perfectly right. The first one, what I did was I, I made a little mistake on the top marquee, where it has a big gap, like a big ear. So the second version I adjusted and make it better, and now it came out perfectly correctly, and it was it was a big headache, but I managed to put it together, and it came out beautiful. Sean, you did a great job, man. Incredible. Yes.
So Bobby, are you the one who's in charge of actually designing the instructions then? Because that might explain a lot. No,
No, this is all Sean, but I put things together, which is like I try to like where the screw belongs to, where should I put it, how should I make it look right, how should I make it look like perfect, like not to be seen, or make it look like it come out of a box, like a factory, which I managed to did that, and it looks beautiful, and came out great.
it sure
You did
did.
such a good job, but we had such little time to put that together.
Yes, no time at all. It's like
And you pulled it off in like a matter of days. It was amazing.
it. I was literally by myself. I got no help.
Oh man.
I would have
Wow.
helped, but there's this big ocean in the way.
Yeah.
Well, Timmy, I think there was also some discussion, if I recall, about, I don't know if you guys were involved in this at all, but 6 buttons versus 3 buttons, kind of like original versus, making concessions for other games, those kind of small decisions, like who sort of, like, among you guys, who's sort of involved in those discussions? Do you guys have any input? Do you have any thoughts about that kind of stuff? It's probably mostly for you, Bobby, or Sean.
Well, the reason why we want to pick 3 buttons, because we have a USB ports, right?
Right.
So we try to keep it authentic as possible to original looking.
Yeah.
So in the future, say we come out like whatever game that requires 4 buttons or more, you can always use a Bluetooth. We also support Bluetooth wireless, or you can connect in front of it to use extra controller that has more buttons to play it. So,
Right.
so if some people like 6 buttons, but 3 looks more original. But you want to play more buttons games, then use a wireless controller or wire plug in the front of the USB ports.
So you can keep it authentic and still have functionality if you
Yes,
want
yes,
it. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. No, I think that was a good decision. I think a lot of people really were supportive of that. So yeah, any other? I mean, you went back probably, was it basically 2 years ago that you guys got started on kind of like working with John? And I think some of you said, we had a chat earlier, I think some of you said it was like May 2024. Is that right?
What was that? Sorry, what was May 24?
Is that when you guys really kind of got started on working with this kind of stuff with John?
That was at this point. It wasn't. I didn't even know. It
No,
was
I
in
think it
Conquer
was
Arcade.
in September of last year, or yeah, around September. I didn't have much time. I had like probably like 3 months or something. I
I
think.
know one of you in the chat said it's coming up on like the 2-year anniversary of the Street Fighter project for you guys.
Yeah, so it was 2 years ago that I first spoke to John about a Street Fighter cabinet. I had no idea
Okay.
that it was Iconic Arcade or anything. He was dealing with all that, and he said, "What would this look like?" And that's when we started getting talking and building out the initial renders.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's been about 2 years to the month of end to end, really.
And were you guys kind of at what point in the whole time frame between then and where we are now, were you still involved in some level? And I know Ryan's been involved and still is by the hour, but for you guys, from a design prototyping standpoint, when did that finally end? Like, were you still working on stuff like, I don't know, September-ish last year, or
For Street Fighter
for
specifically?
Street Fighter? Yeah.
So we had the golden sample that went out to John. That was supposed to be the final one before we signed it off and went forward with production, and there were just some things that he wasn't happy with. And it was the right decision to delay it. There was nothing major. There was nothing that people would have got in their hands and been really disappointed with. But if you can make these small changes to make it a lot better, why wouldn't you? The extra delays for a few months, they cause some headaches, and obviously people want their machine as quick as they can when they've paid for it. But I think by the time it's in your hand, you're probably not going to remember those few months of frustration. But you will have the rest of your life to have this machine as good as we could have made it. So yeah, from that golden sample, there was a few more tweaks to the design, and that's when we stopped working on Street Fighter.
Wow. That's it feels like it's been a long time coming, but I know the actual sort of, production and everything else. Kevin can speak more to that certainly than I can, but I know that part was very compressed. And at one point, you guys were trying to get it out by Christmas, and obviously, different things came up, like you said, Sean, so it couldn't happen. But I think that the time frame is something people don't necessarily understand exactly, kind of like what was happening, and the fact that there was a very long period of time that you weren't actually really able to do anything. Roughly how long do you think that time period was?
I'm not really sure, because obviously I wasn't working on it full time. So from once the initial design goes off, John QAs it, has a look at it, goes off to the factory, and that can be a while before it comes back to me anyway. So I stopped working on it once the first draft was done, until they came back and said we need to make some more changes. I really couldn't pinpoint a time frame, to be honest, though, because there were other things I was designing in the background for like my own projects and things that I wanted to see. So I've got this nasty habit of John saying I'd like this game, and me going and spending 8 hours designing it and then realising it's never going to get made. So I was always doing stuff anyway. So we just weren't working on Street Fighter specifically for a while.
Gotcha. And did I hear correctly in the discussion we had just 2 or 3 minutes ago that you were directly involved in developing the instructions that come with each of the cabinets, or was that someone else?
No,
that was someone else. Okay.
That would be we are the guys you can all see at Media1Up. We're all part of John's think tank about getting these cabinets to look exactly how John wants them. But there are lots of people working at Medion and Eldom and the factory that we work with. There's so many other people that have brought this to life. It's not just us, but it will be somebody else. The first time I saw the instructions, to be honest, I didn't have any problems with the instructions, but I said this to John earlier, I was probably a bit biased because I've been inside that cabinet in 3D for 2 years, so inside it at that point. So for me it went together really easily, but I can see why people might have some problems with the instructions.
I've heard some people say if you put arcade 1-ups together, this isn't going to be a problem, and other people say it's got significant differences than arcade 1-up. I think one of those things is just the physical size of it is probably more requiring of a second person than people are used to. I don't have it in hand yet, so I can't say, but except for Kevin. I mean, if you're Kevin, you could just muscle it together.
I threw the top fuselage on without an issue.
Fuselage.
I think that's what it's called in the instructions. The top and bottom fuselage.
I mean, it's not wrong, right? I mean, I guess it's, if you're a shipbuilder, it's 100% accurate.
It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah. No, it's good. Bobby, anything else from I'll say the prototyping aspect of things? I know you had some crunch time frames and things like that. Is there anything else that, like, when you were working on the prototypes, that maybe you gave as direct feedback to say, hey, I got this thing together, but I'm thinking, I don't know, it's too short, or it's not wide enough, or the viewing angles aren't right. How else did you kind of contribute to the project in your interactions with John?
This is how things got better. With an error, for the first error, when you build something and you see that error, you memorize the error on the second build and you make it better, right? So to make it better, I looked at it to the previous cap that the first Double Dragon that I built with no instructions, nothing at all. No alignment, nothing. The second one, I looked from the first, and I built the second one. I got it to perfection, and I am I'm in charge for making sure the hardware, the monitor, and making sure the sticks and the buns works pretty well. And I approve those on the Iconic Arcade Street Fighter because I test those sticks and buns. So everyone out there, you should be happy because I literally test these sticks and buns and I approve them and it works perfectly fine. You don't have to change at all unless you want like IL sticks. You got bigger hands, bigger fingers, bigger buns. You can change it, but technically you don't need to. But those buns, when you do the special move, it will come right off the back. If you don't know how to do special moves, start practicing. Right?
So you're saying it's not the buttons, you got to get good.
Yes. I also do Q&A. I'll be also doing a tutorial. Like for instance, is something wrong with the cabinets or how to hook up, how to connect to Wi-Fi, or any technical issues
Okay.
that I will put it up on my channel, which everyone can. You don't need to call anybody, right? Just go to my channel. All the answers will be right there. Everything will be fixed. If there's any problem, just let me know through my email or text me. And also, everybody knows that I like to design. I design like I being creative. So I like you everyone see I design the cocktail table, for example, right? How y'all think of that? I'm in charge with designing and do project and future projects. So stay tuned. Lots of stuff coming up. We got a lot of goodies on the tables.
No,
Lots.
that's exciting, and I did want to mention since you brought it up, Bobby, that the assembly video. I don't know if you had a hand in that, but John did post that. I think it was earlier today, so people can check that out if they're having any trouble. They can watch that video, and hopefully that'll maybe answer a few questions. So yeah, I know this one's a little bit different. Anything that you think, Bobby, is different enough that people need to be aware of if they're assembling one of these for the first time? Anything that you say is like, well, that's actually a good bit different than maybe Arcade 1-Up. Pay attention to this.
Well, apparently I don't have the cab yet to answer that question. Right? I'm waiting on it because you know what? I don't need it right now because customer gets it first. That's our main priority. I can get it last. I could, once I build the cab, I can do. I will upload a video on tips and tricks. If you're having Wi-Fi issue, I also have a plan for how to connect a better connection on Wi-Fi, so and maybe a potential add-on kit or modding, do a little detail here and there, make it better, right?
Okay.
Add maybe a caster on the bottom. That thing is pretty heavy, right? I'll
I've
make a
heard,
tutorial how
yeah.
to add a little mini caster so you push it around instead of having two people kind of carry it or having like a little tiny dolly in the bottom to push it out, right? It's a little things in here and there to make more convenience for everybody.
I like it. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on your channel then to see as
Yeah.
updates.
I will
come
be
out.
doing updates and everything, whatever is the problem with the technical issue with the iconic Street Fighter, and so on, future products.
Beautiful.
Anything else from your end, Kevin, before we finally unmute Ryan?
No, I'm ready to get into it with Ryan here and hear about what he's been working on and
No,
his
that is
story behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we've kind of I sort of saved the software portion of things because this is something that so many people have been talking about recently. I know there's a lot of depth, a lot of layers. Ryan, I'm just gonna not talk for a second and let you just tell us kind of your thoughts on either how it's been going or what you're doing. Yeah, so just kind of take us into your world for a little bit and into your brain as far as this project's been.
Well, I got put on the project a little bit late. I'm sure some of you know about the legal issues and such. And the previous developer had some commitments that he had to deal with. And due to the legal issues, it kind of pushed him out. So that's where I came in. And I had an emulation solution that I'd been working with. We decided to go ahead and use that. and custom tailor it to these cabinets. I went in and I started working with the scan line and CRT effects. I wanted something that was, very similar to an old arcade monitor.
What were your thoughts on those kinds of effects, and did they add significant complication to the project, or were you excited about it? Like, tell me kind of how that looks for you when someone asks for something like that.
Well, honestly, I had a lot of fun working on it. As far as the technical part of it, it wasn't really a big problem. The Raspberry Pi 5 is more than powerful enough to handle the scanline effects. I mean, if you look at it through like a profile or whatever, you'll notice it doesn't hardly use any CPU at all. It's all done on the GPU, all the sampling, glow, color, bloom, bleed, scan lines, the whole 9 yards. It's all GPU, so nobody has to worry about the performance impact on that.
Nice. I'm kind of curious, and maybe Kevin hates when I do this, but I would like to explore a little bit some of the technical side of maybe the emulation, I'll say Arcadia specifically, versus maybe some other options perhaps that are out there. Are there certain things that you wanted to optimize for this project that maybe weren't well optimized before, or maybe just kind of take us through how your solution maybe differs than something else?
Okay, let's see, where do I begin there?
Right.
It's kind of hard to really
It was a cold
differentiate
day in
that.
December. The year
Yeah,
was
yeah.
1994.
Exactly. No, I think where I tried to put myself apart was I noticed, with a lot of these arcades, I don't even know the right word I want to use to describe it, but there was something lacking with things like the video rendering, the response time, wherever you push a button to when something happens on the screen. Things like that they felt lacking to me. I didn't like things like the little bilinear filter that gets stuck on a lot of arcade games for some reason. I wanted something cleaner. And I think a lot of other people did as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I would agree with that. A lot of people hate hate filters, and they just kind of want like the raw output. I tend to be in that camp, but I know some people are think otherwise. So input lag, is that what you're describing? Like it was, you didn't find solutions that were out there to be kind of up to your standard, so to speak? Was that one of the issues for you?
Yeah. Yeah, that was an issue for me. I played some where I'd had issues where it would take like 5 to 7 frames after I hit the button before something would happen. And I go and test that on like a PCB or FPGA or whatever, and it's like 3 frames every time. So, yeah, something was definitely up.
Interesting. I know in some games, I guess, without getting like, again, too far into the weeds, but with Hyper in particular, there were certain, targets that, maybe John was looking at, for instance, the timing of things relative to the original arcade boards. Was that sort of your standard, or like what kind of drove you in terms of what you were looking to accomplish?
Well, a lot of it was, I had some input from the community, of course, some QA like Justin Wong, Bobby, of course. They had their input, and I'd heard a lot about the speed on Hyperfighting not quite being correct, and I noticed that it had actually been a long-standing bug with the MAME team for like 18 years now. So I definitely wanted to do something about it.
Wow.
And I spent a lot of time studying videos of the game running, timing those out, and trying to figure out exactly how to get it to where it was paced correctly and running the same as the PCB.
Wow. From what I hear, it's now, the timing of it is now better than the official Capcom release on the Switch.
That's correct.
So that's pretty cool. I know Moat's review, he didn't seem to have any issues with how the games were playing now. So what sorts of things are you working on actively now that maybe haven't quite been released yet, but maybe things that John already talked about that are kind of on the way?
Well, right now, my main priority, now that we've got this part done, the offline experience is taken care of, we want to work on the online gameplay. We're working on like a fully featured lobby system, but that's going to progress over time. We'll start out with something like, simple peer-to-peer networking with session codes and work our way towards lobby integration. We just want to make sure that we've got it working well before we expand it out.
Right, right. Do you have, and I think maybe John has mentioned this, but if you can't talk about it, that's fine. But things like spectate and that sort of thing, are they on the roadmap?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. And it sounds like I know you've been working on, some form of online play, pretty actively. How do you feel like that process is going so far?
I'll be honest, it's kind of a headache. One of the hardest things you can do is trying to get two machines to talk to each other and stay synchronized.
Yeah,
Because most of the time,
yeah.
the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, that's a whole other topic that goes beyond sort of my area of expertise with rollback and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to ask you too many questions about stuff that I can't answer, or that I don't know enough about to even ask properly. But yeah, it sounds like we got the right guy on the job. Kevin, you want to jump in with any software thoughts since you have the machine and.
I know one of the biggest questions we've had all year was people want to see the UI. They want to see the UI. So the UI comes out and you guys have gone to quote Rexer with sort of like the Netflix style sort of scrolling. Was that like one of multiple options? Was that just like this is where my passion is? I'm going to go with this style, or kind of like what had you land on that as the interface style?
Well, I wish I could answer that one, but I actually didn't have any involvement in the launcher portion of it. That was another team that developed the launcher part. I just did the emulation.
Okay, fair enough. Well, there we go.
Good question, Kevin. Good question.
Good question. They're not here.
Ryan, did you do the instruction manual?
I wish.
No, I mean, you've been seeing a lot of the updates coming through, Kevin. It seemed like pretty fast and furious too. There were some days it seemed like you were getting 2 or 3 updates in a day.
It's been wild. I mean, when we started, obviously we were on version 1. I forget the last time I checked. I think I'm at like 7 point something. Maybe it's changed since then. So I honestly wasn't even able to really keep up with all the updates. There was a point where I just turned it on. It would like skip multiple updates and just go to the most recent one. So yeah, I personally, I was in the camp, Paul, where I was excited once we had the ability to sort of remove the filters.
Yes.
I think it's a great feature. Like for me, the only one I'll probably use is like the CRT kind of rounding. I think that's kind of cool, so that when you look down, it looks like that old CRT monitor where the corners are just a little bezeled off. Like that, that's a nice, classy touch. But I've always been in the camp. I want the sharpest, blur-free, best refresh rate graphics that we're capable of doing. Right, so I was excited to see that in there. Yeah, that's been my piece. I know a lot of people are really excited about the online, so that's one that I know everyone's looking forward to, and there seems to be a hunger to sort of reignite that in the community, all the online play. So definitely want to see what you come out with there.
It's been a lot of fun to work on, I'll say that. Even just the CRT effects alone, that stuff, I spent probably way more time than I should have on it, to be honest, but I think it came out great.
That to me, that of all the different sort of options to filter, to me it's so subtle, but it looks right. That's what you expect when you're kind of looking down. Is you don't expect perfectly sharp corners. It just feels wrong. So I thought something that small. I mean, it sounds like you put a lot of time in it. So I'm glad that was my favorite feature of it, because it's absolutely turned on and going on mine. So I love it.
Some random guy in the chat says we're supposed to ask about the tracked mode.
Yeah. So the longer you play it, the more females will flock to you, I think is what it means.
Very
right?
attractive.
That's right.
Extremely. Yeah. No, I am curious about that too, because I leave all of my machines. I know that people are like, "Hey, you gotta burn out the PCBs, whatever." I leave all my machines, which are not Pi 5s. I leave them on 14, 16 hours or more per day, every day, and have done so for the past 6 or 7 years. Never had a problem. But an attract mode is a great feature to have when you're leaving them on behind you. So tell us about that.
Well, we do have an attract mode in place. I believe it's being worked into the launcher as we speak. so that when you leave the launcher idle, it'll randomly start up a game and it'll
Oh,
play
that's
that
cool.
in the background for you until you press a button, and it'll go back to the menu and you can select your game.
Love it. Love it. Because sometimes I forget which games are on which machines. If you've owned enough over the years, it's kind of like, is this the one that had? Oh no, it doesn't have Golden Axe on it. Crap. And so that's great. That's going to be a great reminder of what's on there to play. So cool. How far, if I can ask, how far out do you think that particular update might be?
Honestly, I don't think it's very far out at all.
Okay.
I already have it coded into the emulation part. We just got to make sure that the launcher is going to be stable with everything in place.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to pull this one up from Moat. You've probably seen his review. We've certainly had him on the show a number of times talking about it. He's one of the experts in the community in these types of games. How do you feel about the performance of Third Strike in particular?
Oh, I feel pretty good about it. I was doing some timing on that the other day. I actually have it running on my machine right here next to me right now, benchmarking it to make sure that it's performing okay. As far as I could tell, it had the same 3 or 4 frames delay as an actual machine would when you hit the buttons. So I'm pleased with it so far. I'm sure there'll be people out there that'll correct me, and I welcome that. Any improvements I can make to it, I am more than willing.
So, Mike, since you're in the chat there, if there's any particular reason you asked that question or you want to ask a follow-up, I'll bring that on screen then since you've heard Ryan's answer to that. And Bill is also a fan of the attract mode. I think you're going to get a lot of people that are happy about that. So that's a good thing. Let me pull Mike's comment back up here. There you go.
He was giving you a chance to humble brag. That's what he was
Yeah,
doing. He
because
was
he's such a nice guy.
come on, man. The game kicks ass. You did a great job.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
No, it's good. Whoops. There we go. There you go. And that's what I was planning to do, is just pick one game at random and let it run. But then you also have that game running for, I mean, it'd be like a real arcade. The same game just runs all the time, which is fine. But yeah, that's good though to have it in track mode. That'll be cool. Nice. Well, I'm curious too, Ryan. Are you? I'm guessing. Are you working on more than one project at a time?
I'm getting ready to start working on more projects, but lately it's been all Street Fighter. I've been getting all the kinks worked out, getting everything in there, making sure it's going to work okay. That way, the next few projects can go a little bit smoother.
Nice. Okay. Oh well, here if Justin Wong approves,
Conversation's over.
well, it's definitely a vote of confidence.
It's good to know.
I'll say that. Yeah. Have you, Ryan? Have you had much interaction with anyone who's sort of play testing things, or do you just kind of get it back from John and just kind of run with whatever feedback he passes along?
I've been working with Chris. I've been working with Bobby. I've been working with Justin Wong and getting feedback from all of them as they
Okay.
test the new versions. They'll let
Okay.
me know what bugs they find, if they find any issues with lag, or basically any little flaws they find, they let me know about.
I'm sure that's a process of priorities and figuring out which things can be addressed relatively easily, which things take more time,
Right.
what's more important. Yeah. interesting.
outside of the hyperfighting, because that's been discussed a lot. Were there any sort of like fine tuning things that you went in to do, or was there any specific parts of certain games that you remember working on where it caught you by surprise, like how difficult it was to get it from the state it was in to where you wanted it to be?
The way you put that, that kind of makes me think of the elephant in the room with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Hyper Street Fighter 2 and difficulty. The way it just likes to just beat the crap out of you, even if you take it and set it down on the easiest level. Yeah, we fixed that.
BD asked if online tournaments are on the roadmap.
Well, that's a good question. I hope they are. That's the best thing I can say right now.
Fair enough. It's a question for Bobby here. Which is your preferred?
Alpha, baby. I love Alpha. I have Street
Ah,
Fighter in my house, you know what I'm saying? So Alpha is the one to go in my man cave room.
fair enough.
Alpha's, mm,
Alpha's, it is so
yes.
beautiful. It is.
Yeah.
It's art. It's just it's a statement piece in your room.
It's eye popping. You know what I'm saying?
It's
If you have
almost
guests, friends coming over, and as soon as they see that, oh, they never seen an Alpha in an arcade before. This is the
That's
first
true.
one, right? This
Yeah.
is
it's
the
almost a
style.
shame. It's almost a shame to like slot it in with other ones.
Mhm.
Because you're not gonna like get like it's almost like, is there a niche in your room where you can have that kind of standalone? Just the colors and the contrast is all so striking that not seeing that really it's a sad thing.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about it too, Kevin. With I think you've got some basic fun models on the way that are going to be sitting next to that, so it's going to be an interesting point of comparison. I'll say that.
I think right now in the past couple months has definitely been the time to celebrate Street Fighter. So I've had it in. This isn't actually where in my basement I would prefer for this to be. But I mean, we're celebrating it. We're all excited. It is right and proper that would be
Yes.
the focus. But we're gonna be bringing out some new games, right? There's stuff around the corner, and our ADD is gonna kick in, and we're gonna
Yep.
start talking about other stuff here real shortly. So you'll notice my background is going to change from time to time to keep with what we're talking about. But actually, no, I do want to move this one down a little bit. And put it where I can, actually see both sides and have it as more of a statement piece, because
That'd be
being
nice.
kind of jammed in this corner with Time Crisis covering up the other side, it's not getting the love in this room that it deserves. So
That's my problem. I've got you're not gonna be able to see side art at all in this small space that I have. So it's lost.
you're gonna have to take out that wall probably.
Yeah, clearly we don't need a laundry room. Who does
And
laundry?
then do like mirrors around it so you can see it from every angle is the appropriate way to display this machine.
Let me go back to the questions because I feel like I missed a few. Let me see, and feel free to jump in there, Kevin, if there's any that you see that you want to make sure people get a chance to ask.
I do have a special delivery on the way, Arcade 1-Up official. Can't wait.
That is true. Yeah.
And if you haven't marked your calendar for May 14th, I don't know what you're doing, but you should. You really should.
Yeah, it's another fan. Sean did have to leave us. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye properly. We definitely appreciated Sean joining earlier. It was late night for him, but
Well, and like Zero's saying here, not to interrupt, but like when we say it's art, I mean, Sean even confirmed that. Like this was taken from the literal art books. Like that's
Right.
where the scan was. Like it is actually that work of art in a huge size, in your
Yeah.
room for display.
and he's the right guy to do this. Like I didn't want to go into it and be all like gushing with him, live on camera, but I've had
I
discussions.
know now that
off-
he's gone, we can
Yeah,
gush.
yeah, the stuff that he's taught me offline, like I thought I knew a little bit about this kind of stuff, but he's schooled me on so much of the art history, even just in little tidbits where he's not trying to just like tell me how much he knows, but I can just tell he's really got this stuff down. So he is the right guy for the job, and just thrilled for John and for Iconic that that they've partnered with him to get this stuff designed, because he's the right guy.
Well, just as fans, we're all obviously fans of this hobby. Each of us in our own way with our own level of expertise or focus, right? But just you get to know the different guys, and you meet a guy like Sean. This is the first time I ever met Sean, right? And to know that there's someone that passionate and that knowledgeable who's inputting and affecting and developing the products that we're going to be enjoying here in the near future. I mean, that just makes me feel good, right? Because it's like that's what you want. You want to know that the person working on it is an absolute, with all due respect, a nerd on whatever their specialty is. And it's not just some sort of corporate, like, oh, well, this is what we think will sell. So
Right.
download, enhance. Like, no, man, this is a guy who knows his shit, and is passionate about it and about it being right.
And that's this whole team, which is what's thrilling. And I didn't, by talking about Sean, just because he's not here, I didn't at all want to downplay what Bobby does and what Ryan's been doing as well and continues to do. And all these guys are continuing to do with John. And, and John's a passionate guy too for this stuff. Let's not discount that either. So I feel like this is a crew that cares about what they're doing, which is awesome because it's not some, faceless, nameless corporation that's just pumping out widgets. It's people that actually care about this stuff. So if you care about the games, these are the guys doing it, and doing a good job of it. So
Yeah, Justin Wong and me, we tested the sticks. Justin Wong approved the sticks. We can pull off the moves. Now, if you guys can't pull off the move on the stick that we tested,
get good.
You guys need practice, okay?
You gotta get good. Just get good. If you can't land it, get good.
I'm a die-hard Street Fighter fan. I grew up in Street Fighter in the 90s, okay? Nothing but I even did school. Steal my mama's quarters, okay? I won 2 tournaments in the 90s.
wow.
I test this. It needs to be perfect. If it's not approved, ask John D. If it's not approved, but no, this gotta go.
Yeah.
This gotta go, bro. Get another sticks. The bun is as close as it can get on a sand wall. It is perfection. No lag, it's smooth. Smooth like butter.
That's awesome.
Everyone would like it because you guys should realize that once I'm in this category business, with me, I'm very OCD. It needs to be in perfection. I test every little thing. I'm like every little detail. If I see something, I'm gonna call it out, fix that. So once the customer gets the product, they will see the big difference from other competitors, from other companies. Big difference, huge. You don't have to spend any more money on buying steaks, modifying stuff, buying buttons, fixing this, fixing that, so on. You guys know the drill, right? With Iconic, you spend one time and that's it. You're done. You don't need to spend any more money. You save money. That's what To Die For is all about.
Well, and this is the beauty of it, and this is why it's so great to have guys who actually like know how these things work and how they're put together and stuff. Because like the feedback is always, oh, you need this brand of sticks, or you just need to do it right. If you do it right with the right parts and the right attention to detail, to your point, you don't need to swap out a dang thing on this cabinet. It's good to go. You might want to. Maybe there's a personal preference and you would like something to look a little different, or you like the feel of something a little bit different. But there's no one who's going to come up to this cab and be like, oh, I can't play with this joystick. This is garbage. Like, it needs to be upgraded immediately. Like, it's good to go. It's good to go. You can have a blast on it. And
Ready to roll.
Well,
day one out
I
the
like
box.
the fact that you addressed that, Bobby, because there's a lot of people saying like, hey, if it's not the brand name Sanwas or whatever, but it's not like Sanwas are made with some kind of magic special ingredient. Like if the components are quality and you test them and they work well, I don't care if it has the Sanwa name on it or not, as long as it does what it needs to do and feels right. To me, that's more important than a brand name, because even Sanwa could screw something up if they didn't have the right quality or whatever. So to me, just being able to say that you've tested it, the players have tested it, and you know it works the way it should work and feels the way it should feel, that's what matters.
I also compared the Iconic stick, Sanwa clone, with the authentic Shimizu sticks. I'm gonna be honest. The Iconic sticks is better than the Shimizu. The Shimizu costs about 10 times more. It's about maybe 40, 50 bucks. Okay? Trust me, on a Shimizu, I cannot pull off an uppercut.
Oh wow.
Hadouken, okay? With the iconic, oh, with ease. I could go like 10 times in a row without missing. With the Simitsu, I could do like maybe 4 or 5 in a row. After that, I get an error and error and probably finally got another one.
Wow.
So that's all I gotta say. I compare it. I have all the stakes. I compare all of it.
Yeah.
By far, iconic is like as close as I can get to Sandwell. It's about 95%. Is it the only difference is the neck. The
Mm.
neck is the neck of the sticks on the
Hmm.
bottom. If it's a little thicker, you get faster response. So shorter distance, faster response. Especially if you're in a competition or on a street fighting game, on any fighting games, you must need a shorter, faster response. The thicker it is, the shorter. The movements, you see the movements? If it's thinner movements, then move you more. Now if
Right.
it's thicker, you move less. And you hit the spot. And it's
Yep.
for instance, Guile, you need super fast charge, right? Once you move the fastest stick, you need a shorter distance. You don't want a longer distance to get a fast charge.
So
And
what? So
Big
what he's
difference.
saying is, if it's thicker, you're going to hit the spot faster, and that's what we all.
That's-
That's what we all
Yes,
tune in for:
yes.
is go thicker, hit it faster. I did want to jump in. Dave.
That's what
Deming
she say.
That's what. There you go. You got it.
Yeah.
Dave Deming in here with the super chat.
Yeah, thank
Is there
you for that.
another shipment? So I'm learning some lessons on pre-orders right now. Right. I've actually still got a few more cabs, but until I don't have any single pre-order customer complaining, I'm not putting anything up, because heaven forbid I start selling them and then in 2 weeks, Paul's like, Kevin, I still didn't get my unit. Now I'm sold out, right? So I'm committed to making sure none of the pre-order people get screwed over, and I'm keeping like a small sort of tranche of them in my warehouses until all those people are taken care of. So that's my first priority, first commitment. After that, there's a few that we got to send out for like licensor agreements and things like that, where certain people have to get their sort of samples. So we'll send those out. And then there's going to be a few more sent out for like getting the Vine reviews and everything else like that on the listings before we go live. So I would say within like a week or two, 2 weeks maximum, there should be a small handful that goes live. I'll slip Paul a little note over the cell phones, and he can go out and post and be like, hey guys, like, Kevin got all the things shipped out that he needs to ship out. There were whatever 15 at each cab available. If you're waiting in the wings, we'll make sure that we slip you that love note here as quickly as possible, so that you can jump on it. So just keep an eye on Paul and his Reddits and Facebooks and Grinders and wherever else he's posting.
Yeah.
So you get that information quickly.
If you're following me on Grinder, we got a problem.
But yeah, end of the line. I'm looking out for the pre-order folks. I know there's people who are still pissed off they haven't gotten their unit. Totally valid. Totally valid if you're pissed off. I make no excuse. But we will absolutely make sure every single one of those pre-orders is taken care of and ready to go. And then once that happens, then we'll start doing all the other stuff. So that's my commitment. We've been doing a few pre-orders here over the past year and a half now. We obviously learn a little bit each time and get a little bit better. So you guys are kind of reaping the benefits of some of that at this point.
Awesome. Appreciate that question and the super chat. Before I forget, and because Ryan, you mentioned about input lag, and obviously Bobby, you were talking about just sort of the speed, of gameplay, that made me think about the buttons and the selection of the buttons, concave versus convex, short throw, long throw. What went into your thought process around selecting the buttons?
Okay, for fighting games, I highly recommend Sanwa buttons. The shorter the distance, the faster response. The one that we got, it's like a tenth of a centimeter higher. It's almost identical to the Sanwa buttons. So it depends. What are you playing? If you're a pro, a Street Fighter pro, or any fighting pro, sandwall, authentic sandwall, and sandwall buns. Now, if you're like a casual game, like shoot 'em up, beat 'em up, any controller is fine, right? Because you're not challenging anybody. You're not in any competition. It works perfectly fine. So for fighting games only, I highly recommend the stick that we got right now. You need to change it all. If you're in a tournament competition, yes, then get the authentic sandwall with a thicker neck and authentic sandwall buttons. That's the only two difference.
Fair enough. And Zero Redux, before it disappears from the screen here, wants to thank you guys and saying it's 100% worth the wait. Thank you, Zero Redux, for the super chat for sure. That was awesome of you. But yeah, totally agree. That's what this show is all about tonight, is trying to make sure that you guys get a little bit of the recognition you deserve. You're so much behind the scenes. It's, people know John, and he deserves, all the credit as well, but they don't necessarily always know that you guys are involved and to what level, and also the passion that you have to get it right. And that means a lot to us. This is the kind of thing a lot of us have been waiting for since like 2018, when the home arcade concept first came to market. It's taken this long to get to a product that we can, I think, finally say, yeah, this is basically what we've always wanted at home, and you guys are the ones that made it happen. So so thank you.
No, I'm glad you enjoy it.
I mean, I won't enjoy it till Saturday, but that's
Oh, I'm glad everybody's enjoying theirs that has received it.
no, I mean, honestly, everything I've seen, I'm so excited. It just looks incredible. And I didn't even bring these up. I was going to earlier. I'm glad you said that, because I have a whole bunch of posts just from that I just grabbed from people today, basically saying, hey, I got it, and I got it set up, and they're just kind of showing it off and talking about it. I'm just going to throw a couple of them on screen. Chris, I don't know how to say his name, Chapoy, assembled there. I mean, that was, I think, within like a day that he had that together. It was one of the first ones. Looks awesome. He's showing off the side art there. Obviously looks great. I'm gonna grab a few more of these. Yeah, right.
While you're doing that, beat Kirby gifted 10 insider memberships. So he took off the cloaking field. So shout out to JJ, Wheeze, Kansas Bull, DTI with a number behind it, Dudes Arcade, Glarzilla Gaming.
Man.
See you hiding in the shadows now. You've been revealed. Thanks for joining us. Jump in the chat from time to time. Say hello.
No, seriously. And thank you, B. Kirby, for doing that. Always appreciate Bill's support. And yeah.
Oh, you got
Here's another one.
Got a super chat from Kevin. It's for Paul to cover 1 hour of labor. Gave you $2.
Yes. That covers 2 hours of my labor. What are you talking about? That's a solid 2 hours.
You can go right over to the corner store and get yourself a hot dog with that. There you go.
I love it. Some jawbreakers.
Hey, did you get your Popeyes? You were supposed to go out last week. You had homework. You were supposed to get Popeyes for the first time. I got a hat to celebrate your moment.
You know what? I was out today at so I get monthly allergy shots because I just have problems. But so I go monthly to my allergist to get these shots, and I totally forgot they're actually probably within about 5 minutes of where that Popeyes is that you located for me. And it wasn't until I was halfway through downtown Lancaster that I remembered. I'm like, there's no way I'm turning around to go do that because traffic at like 5:30.
That's because you've never been there. If you had been there, you would have turned around. You'd be like, oh shit, I forgot to grab my Popeyes while I was out here.
Yes, I wasn't properly motivated, but yeah, no, it's on the to-do list. I got some vacation coming up, so maybe during vacation I'll find my way over there. Yeah,
get yourself a big to-go bag and then go home and take a nap.
Yeah, I like it. These are quality ideas.
Daniel wants to know which cab you bought. I know the answer.
Oh, you sure do, yeah. Well, it's funny. We're all going to have the Alpha 2 cabs, right?
It's a wild cab. Like, it's hard to not get it.
So I had 2, 3 versions of World Warrior of various iterations from Arcade 1-Up, and granted, none of them are anywhere near what this one is. But for me, it was just like, well, we've never seen an Alpha 2 in any form, so that was a no brainer. And I told John too, if there had been a third strike, that would have been hot. That's another one that I would have liked to have seen. So I don't know. Maybe if there's ever any, special limited edition, second, third runs in the future, maybe that'll become a thing someday. But in any event, Alpha 2, that's your answer. It's gonna be awesome. But I did want to ask you, Kevin, if you happen to know roughly what the breakdown was between World Warrior and Alpha, 60-40, 80-20. What?
It was slightly more to Alpha. Like it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like 70-30 or anything like that. 60-40 is probably a pretty good split. I mean, it was in all the conversations we've had, Alpha 2 was always the leader, but by a margin, I wouldn't say it was a blowout.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, here we got. Wish I was a rock star asking for you to check on his pre-order, and there's his number, which I think Josh is going to take down for us. But
yes, Josh is secretarying it up for me. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat and making Kevin aware of that, so he can track it down for you.
I will, as soon as this show's over, I'm gonna log in quick, and whatever my list is that I got to get through, I'll get through them, and then I think I have to do dishes. I don't know why I agreed to do that, but I did.
Yeah. I want to thank Bobby for his continuing excitement about these cabs. Hats off, brother. Agreed.
Thank you. Yeah. What was it? Tim York?
Tim York.
Thank you, Tim
Dr.
York.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm kind of just catching up here. Go ahead.
Yeah, Unchained. Definitely missed the Spy Hunter announcement, so you'll have to rewind. We definitely announced. Stuff.
Oh, you announced it and sold out already, so you missed it.
It's already gone.
Same with Hubert. That was gone fast. Oh well.
We announced all the '80s titles that are coming out over the next year, so you probably missed that as well. Oh well.
Josh wants to know of Bobby, what's your favorite move in Street Fighter? Maybe I should also ask what your favorite character is.
Hadouken!
That's good.
All you can eat. That's why it is.
I love that skit. I'm sure you've seen it with I think is it Josh Holmes who does this skit, and it's like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Is it? And it's Josh Paul. No, what's his name? Mark Paul Gossier plays Ryu, and he's like trying to pronounce all of the things. And yeah, it's just bizarre. It's like some kind of like a work interview or something. It's a great video. But anyway, let's see.
Let me answer Daniel. What do you think about the new Street Fighter movie? The Mortal Kombat, yes. Badass. But game wise, it's Street Fighter. Game wise, Mortal Kombat, no. Okay. Street Fighter is the godfather, the originator of fighting games that was born, and then more other fighting games were born because of Street Fighter. Without Street Fighter, there were no MK, no Samurai, no this and that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
None of this.
And
so Street Fighter started it all.
Yeah, it made it popular too, because there were
the movie sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, forget the movies. MK movie is badass, but Street Fighter, it's a no. They can't even like mimic the video game style. It's not even close. You get what I'm saying? Like, what is this?
Well, some people are saying maybe it's going to be one of those like so bad it's good kind of things. Like it's going to be like over the top in a fun way.
It's not as close as the video game. It's not MK is pretty close. It's close, but not close enough. But it's getting there. But Street Fighter movies, it's a no. He said no.
I'm kind of based on the previews. I'm kind of with you. Like I really
I
like
tell you
the
what, even the
Mortal Kombat
AI movies made it better. You seen that, right? The AI
Yes.
movies. Come on now, what can I do like that? You know, like the AI movies, Street Fighter is like it's badass, right? You get what I'm saying? It's like, what is this?
I know. I'm trying to kind of come around on it because I like I like Street Fighter so much, but I really like the Mortal Kombat movies. Like when it first came out in the '90s,
I love Street Fighter. I'm
oh
a
man,
diehard fan of Street Fighter. Trust me, if I see something's not is not right, I'll say it straight up.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yes.
Well, let's see, I have a special request here in the chat for, let's see, who was it? It wanted me to pull up. Here it is. Yes, Zero Redux. First of all, thank you again for the super chat, and I would be thrilled to put yours on screen. I hope that is correct. Let me know if it's not. But man, that looks fine. Let me hide your super chat there so we can see it. Looks great.
See, that was what I was saying. This one really does deserve that spot on the wall where it's just by itself. Nothing blocking it. You know, I love how he kind of like hit it like right alongside the doors there, so you can like kind of walk in around and you're always able to just get a good look. Like it's a statement piece. If you haven't gotten yours yet, when you see this thing, I mean it grabs your attention when you walk in the room.
That looks so iconic.
It's so iconic.
Yes.
Well, there's not many products in the home arcade space that have come out so far that can legitimately fool someone into thinking maybe it was a real arcade machine. The Pac-Man XL, I think, was the first one that got close because the proportions were pretty good compared to the original. Now, some of the Arcade 1-Up logos, stuff like that, kind of gave it away, but it was reasonably close. I think this is probably the next one that I would say, yes, somebody might actually be fooled into thinking that's a real machine.
Dark Tech Kelly's right. That marquee is thick with all the C's. Like that is, it's hot. It's just, you'll love it.
I wanted to ask Sean more about the process involved in making that, because it seemed like for so many years Arcade 1-Up struggled to figure out how to do that properly. Like I think they've kind of gotten better at it. I think WrestleFest was probably decent, if I recall. And Star Wars, the more recent ones that they've done, but in the past, at least, that was always a challenge. Yeah, this is just another note of thanks. Totally agree, Jay. Yep. Bringing the hope and excitement back. I think it's really going to be back later this year when we start really kind of getting the ball rolling, now that we've gotten this one. But this seems like a great first salvo.
Home arcade's back, baby. Home arcade's back. Back in the
Vic
good old days.
Vic
Let's
Vicious
go.
is going to keep asking his question. He's going to keep changing it until he gets it just right. I think I'll be allowed to announce. I think I'll be allowed to announce what the next one. I want to say in the next like 2 to 3 weeks.
Really?
Yep.
After Double Dragon.
I'm not saying when. I'm just saying I think, because I was just talking with the brand today, and we're starting to talk about when we can start talking about talking. So
keep talking about talking.
Talking about talking. So I'm working on an order right now, and that order has a title on it that no one's talked about yet. So that gives you an idea of how kind of far out we are from some new news. Also, if you haven't, you should probably mark your calendar for May 14th.
Oh my God.
Tune into the Arcade Insiders, 7 o'clock Central Time that night.
I feel like it could be just me. There might be some product that you're trying to move when that date rolls in. We'll see.
Chill to the day I die, baby. That's what I'm here for.
There was a question about this from Dre Gott originally, but John also chimed in here, whether I thought Golden TXL felt like a real cab. I did feel like the original non-mashup one was pretty close. I'll agree with that. What I can't remember is I thought Pac-Man XL came before Golden TXL. I could be wrong. If so, then I would say Golden T was probably the first. But yeah. It's a Pac-Man.
Wikipedia, May 14th. Thanks, Josh. Always adding value to the show.
I got to get working on that page as soon as we're done here.
That's my goodness.
Let's see. Gabriel Gray, I missed a lot, didn't I?
You might want to rewatch the show, bud. It was a good one. It's
pretty good. But I mean, Gabriel's one of the guys too that we've been chatting all week because he was kind of in the same camp that I was, like when his was going to arrive, and hoping it's not going to be left out, out in the middle of your driveway to be picked up by a passerby or rained on.
That would have to be a jacked, motivated passerby. Like, this thing is its own security system. Unless there's like a 350-pound passerby driving by with a pickup truck, I think.
It's two highly motivated individuals together.
That's right.
Bill, thank you for, I couldn't remember the order there. Golden TXL was the second one after the Shack XL, which I did not think was particularly, obviously I turned mine into a Soul Calibur, but like some of the proportions are really weird. Like the marquee on Shack XL was so tall because they got a proportion to the rest of it. And meanwhile, the control panel was really thin. It was just kind of weird. But yeah, Golden T and Pac-Man were pretty close. Oh, now he's doing his job. Look at this. If you have an unaddressed or outstanding issue with your order, put your number in the chat. Kevin will follow up with you. And yep, I agree with that, John.
I had to change up the monitor.
I do seem to recall something with that. I think Shaq did too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't.
He has a we all call it a monitor gate. Was it a monitor gate back in the days?
Yeah, the viewing angles were. It's a funny thing too. Like a proper TN monitor can have really good response times, but yeah, the viewing angles on the ones that they used were not good. Yeah.
More money to spend.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding.
Right.
Yep. Special surprise. This is a part of the show where Kevin does his work in real time. He's looking up orders right now. You can tell he's got that work face on.
Yeah, no, it's it's a real thing.
But yeah, Supreme Starhawk, I agree. Thank you for your work on the emulation. Everything mentioned has been great to hear. Yeah. Again, unsung heroes all on this episode. Guys don't get enough, I don't know what you want to call it, but enough recognition for the work you've been doing on this stuff behind the scenes. I hear little tidbits here and there, probably more than most, but even I don't have a clue what you guys have been doing most of the time.
Keep him busy, that's for sure.
Zero Redux says, what about the T-molding? What is this exactly? I like it. I don't know because I don't have it, but I'm assuming it's a little bit different than what Arcade1Up must be doing or did. So, yeah.
The T-molding? No, it's the same thing as Arcade1Up. It's a banding thing.
Okay.
It's banding strips.
Okay.
That's a banding strip. There's no T-molding there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's what I did on my Soul Calibur build. It required like an iron and stuff. It's got like an adhesive on the back. I don't know if it's the same way. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use an iron or a heat gun to put it on. It's either or.
Yeah, here.
To put that banding on strips.
Right. Okay. Edge banding. Yep. There we go.
Yeah, edge banding. That's what it is.
Here's a good one for you, Ryan. And I was thrilled to see a Dreamcast slash Naomi era title on this build. Did you have any problems related to the emulation or anything else?
Well, believe it or not, that was actually one of the least problematic titles on the machine.
Well, I feel like Dreamcast emulation has been pretty well figured out for a while now.
Oh yeah, it's been solid for a while now.
Yeah, there's some really good, Flycast, Redream, some really good emulators out there. But I'm still thrilled to see it in general, that we have hardware beefy enough to run it without problems. I'd love to see more of that era personally, but let's see.
Yeah, people are asking what's the next pre-order. Everyone, end of May. It should be the end of May. So another pre-order or up should be everywhere.
So yeah,
Right,
Kevin,
Kevin?
you mentioned there's a shipment you're thinking that's probably coming in May. Is that when another round of orders would happen, or would it be before the shipment arrives?
I'll let you know.
All right. John is confirming that it's edge banding, the same as One-Up. So there we go. Could add the U molding. I guess it's like the kind of plasticky, more rubbery shaped.
It's rubber.
Product.
It's a
Rubber?
flexible rubber. It's like a rubber band. It's very flexible.
Yeah. Okay. And that doesn't have any kind of adhesive, right? It just kind of stays on.
It has a
Friction?
double-sided tape. It has a double-sided tape from behind from the U.
Okay.
It has a double-sided tape from behind it, so you just slap it on. Just pull out the tape, just slide it in.
I've worked with T molding and edge band. I never worked with the U stuff. I would. The thing that would bother me, I think, is if it was close to, and I guess it wouldn't be on these designs, but if it was close to the control panel, feeling that that dimensionality of the U, like from the sides of the U shape, being able to feel that, like, depending where it's applied. Like if it's on the control panel surface at all, like on the lip of it, I think I would feel that on my palms or my wrists. I'm not sure I'd feel about that, but in any event,
It's a very nice soft rubber. So it's like
Okay.
a little like a bumper, like a soft bumper on the side.
okay,
So you won't even notice.
okay, that's cool.
And plus
Yes.
the cabinet is wide enough, and the space between the sticks and the banding, the rubber, I don't think you'll be able to touch it unless you have a very
Okay.
big hand.
Okay, so that'd be an easy
Be
way
okay.
to change it up if we wanted to for any reason.
Yes, yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I'm also interested in, Bobby, you would know about this, the ability to change out the marquee relatively easily with this design. I'm told it's much easier if you wanted to do that. Like you wouldn't have to completely disassemble the cabinet to change out the marquee. Do you believe? I know you don't have your actual production unit yet. Is that the
I
case?
can't answer that.
You don't know yet
I have
either.
no
Okay.
clue. I have no clue. How is it the setup? How is everything? I have no
Okay.
idea.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Unless I watch somebody's put it on, like
Right.
a tutorial how to put it on, and somebody put it on, I can analyze it. But
Yeah. Okay.
I ain't no rush to get it. I tell you what, I want all my customers to get their cabinet first before I get it. I want the customer to get everything. I don't mind getting it last.
Well, fortunately, since it is retail, they're not really, it's not going to be over weeks. I think probably by the end of this weekend, just about everybody's going to have theirs. So that's, there might be a couple of holdouts, but yeah.
I'll probably get mine by the end of May. That's what I figure. I want everybody to get theirs first.
I hope it's a lot sooner than that. Oh, man.
Then I can put up tutorials, Q&A, how to this, how to that,
Yeah.
how to change the button, so on. And you want help, I have a lot of tips and tricks because I have I do have a sample kit of the Iconic, because I open it up. That's how we do the testing,
Oh,
all
okay.
the Street Fighter testing
Yeah.
and button and all that. I had a kit a long time ago, so I open it up and I analyze it and look at it. If you guys want IO sticks, plenty of room to slap
No.
an IO stick. You need to grind on the side of the plastic to make it fit. Just put it in. Make sure you pre-drilled a hole first. You don't put the screw in, just drill it right in, because you will get a tunnel. You know what tunnel is? The wood tunnel. Then
Yeah,
you get the you won't you the screw will not stay there. It will strip right out.
that'd be bad.
So that's one. I will make tutorials for how to switch things up. If you want, like, your hands too big, you want IO sticks. Yeah, IO sticks is good, right?
How
Buns
many?
easy swappable. Just unplug, plug it in. Nothing changed.
So how many of the games in the U.S. market would have had ILs versus a Japanese style stick? Would most of the Street Fighter games that came into the U.S. have had ILs originally in the U.S., or would they still have had either Sanwas or
Okay,
Famitsu?
the original back in the day was not IL. The original was HAP. IL came after HAP. Originally was a half stick from the arcade, and then after the arcade, once it goes into a competition of a Street Fighter, that's when Sandwall comes in.
Mm,
When Sandwall comes in, this which is where the candy caps came out, which is got more popular, and then come out with arcade sticks where people go to the competition in Vegas, right? And then they have to bring their own sticks with the sandwall sticks and sandwall buttons for faster response, lesser movements for faster response,
interesting. Okay.
right? So it all depends. So if you're talking about in the 90s, it's HAPS. After 90s, it goes toward to competitions into the Sandwall and Simitsu and many other brands
Hmm.
of the sticks. It all depends on what are you going for. If you're in the arcade, then okay, HAPS. If you're in the competition, Sandwall. It all depends.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I thought it was more regional. Like Japan preferred one thing, U.S. market got another, but it sounds like it was more just the who you were and what time period you were in.
Yes.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
was there. I was there all the way. I grew up. I just love Street Fighter. I'm a diehard fan of Street Fighter.
I mean, I grew up
Oh my
playing it,
god.
but when I was a kid, I never gave a second thought. Like, I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I wonder if this is a hap, and eventually they're going to be bought out, but it would become Suzo hap at some point, and like it was Sanwa Sumitsu. I don't know what's in
Yeah.
there.
Do you remember when the first time came out when Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo come out a Street Fighter? And
Oh
right,
yeah.
and then we are arguing to find out which is the
Yep.
better version, right? I go, okay, Street Fighter is a better version on a SNES. It's closest to the arcade.
Yep.
But one thing is, MK is a better version on the Sega Genesis because it has blood.
Oh, I,
You get what I'm
not only
saying?
do I remember that,
It kind of like balance it out, you know what I'm saying?
it
MK
did.
belongs to Sega. Okay. Street Fighter belongs to Nintendo.
It
So
was
that's the only difference.
It was better on the Super Nintendo, and I worked at Toys R Us in the mid '90s when those games came out, and seeing the debate with kids like in the aisle as they were talking about it, and like how many of this one sold versus that one. I sold a ton of the Sega Genesis Mortal Kombats, but on Super Nintendo, very few Mortal Kombats, and it was kind of the reverse with Street Fighter until Sega came out with. I think they were the first to have Championship edition of Street Fighter. Like I don't know if Nintendo got it. I think Sega got it first. I forget exactly how it worked out, but there was a time period there where Sega had a version of Street Fighter that Nintendo didn't, and that helped them a little bit. But I can't quite remember what the exact timing of it was. So yeah, I went back and forth. That was the point. Sure did.
It was I recall it was a Street Fighter Special Champion Edition.
Yeah,
Say the Sega got exclusive on that one.
that's what
But
it was. Yes.
the sound is way off. The sound like the sound is so weird.
Yeah, it sounds like they're underwater.
Yes, that's what it was though.
Sound,
Yes,
sound like
that's
this.
what it was.
It sound like it's suffocating or something. You need some air.
It was pretty bad. But I tell you what, though, I hated the art on the Super Nintendo Street Fighter box, and I don't remember. And I shouldn't be. I'm sure the artist is a very talented artist, but I just didn't like that style that they used. Some American artist, I think, did that, and it was, to me, it was just not Street Fighter. It was just weird. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm not paying attention to the chat now. What did I miss?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I've been reading
Thanks,
the
Josh.
chat right now.
Shaft. Okay.
I
Thank you, Josh.
replied. I have sent out replies to everybody who sent in an order number. So if you send in
Dang.
an order number, all of them except for one are shipped, and that one's in a special bucket. So still got an email diverted to the person managing the bucket.
Man. These are good. I'm just going through here. SNES had so much better audio. It did. Well, didn't the Super Nintendo also have like a dedicated sound chip that the Genesis didn't have? There was something I felt like they had hardware-wise.
Yeah,
that
the
they
Super
leveraged.
Nintendo
Yeah.
has a better sound, closest to
Had
the
that-
arcade. It's closest.
It was the Sony SPC 700. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
about
Sony
right.
sound. Yeah, yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I got to pull this one up from Jay just so Kevin can take a screenshot. So there you go.
There we go. Someone said something nice about me. I'm gonna sign off. Never happens.
I'm gonna make a big screen right here
Oh,
just so we can see it. We can screen capture this. A tear in your eye.
No, I replied to him at the end of the day. Like, I don't without the people out here excited and buying the product, I don't got a job. So
Yeah.
hashtag never forget. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and I know I'm not the only one. You know, Bobby's doing what he loves because you guys buy the product. You know, Ryan's out here doing what he likes to do because you people are buying the product. So I know I'm personally like, there's some really shitty jobs out there, and I don't have to work them. I get to sell arcades for a living, right? So, like, I'm super grateful for y'all because if y'all were out here buying these things, I'd be at, like, Staples stocking, I don't know, like, printer paper or something. And I don't know if people still use that anymore, but, you know, I'd be doing something mundane and pointless. So I'm just glad we're all able to
Seriously.
get together and do these things.
And I'm here just to push Kevin to not buy the stupid ones.
Yeah, 100%. There's plenty of times where I'll talk to somebody and then I'll be like, Paul, I have a question. And he's like, no one wants Qbert. I'm like, fine.
No, I did not say that.
So
No, but
that's
don't-
where that officially is.
Don't
come
clip that. I've never said that. No. SNES had the best sound of all the 16-bit consoles. Genesis had metallic sound to all of its sound bites. Yeah. And I guess really it took a while before you got to like the the CD add-ons, and there was also obviously the Neo Geo doing its thing. But yeah. Yep. That's what we're all here for, Moat. Push for the cool stuff.
All right. But when I get it, you have to buy it.
I think that's the agreement. Yeah.
That's the agreement. If I get the cool stuff y'all want, go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Pre-order it.
Well,
Make
if we
sure-
don't, it's because we say, "Well, that wasn't cool enough. That wasn't the one we wanted."
I wanted a Qbert triple XL. I wanted a 30-inch screen for Qbert.
Yeah, I think that's the implied contract that we all have. You bring the cool stuff, we buy it.
Yeah. And if you buy the cool stuff, then I can get more cool stuff because I could be like,
Yeah.
remember that other time we did a cool thing and people bought so much of a cool thing? Let's do another cool thing.
Yes, it is a catch-22. Got to bring the cool thing for us to buy it. Yeah. Sega CD wasn't that great. Oh no, you're not kidding. I'm not making an argument for it. Most of the CD-based consoles at that time weren't great, or I should say add-ons. Really, I guess they were all add-ons until the PlayStation. That was a whole different thing. The load times on the Neo Geo CD, holy cow! It had like a 2x read speed. It was bad.
Ooh, inside tip: if I get bad dudes, I'll sell at least one. All right. At Arcade 1-Up official, I've got a sale.
Didn't we have this whole discussion last time where the consensus was like 80-20 that Double Dragon was superior to Bad Dudes? There were a few holdouts.
Even Claude agreed that like Bad Dudes was like a fun game or a funny game, but like for actual gameplay, hands down, Double Dragon was the clear winner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the robot overlords agreed with me on that one.
They did. He's Charlie Murphy's asking if you think Double Dragon's going to have higher pre-order.
100%, and I'm going to tell you why. Spreetail now knows how to do pre-orders right, and so we're not going to be screwing it up. So customers are going to have a much higher level of confidence on the execution because we know how to do it, and we're going to do it super fast. It's also going to be a shorter window, right?
That's key.
That first pre-order was, it had a date. It got a little bit of an excitement, but you had an untested product. No one had it in their hands, nothing like that. And then it was, the window kept stretching out. So, the folks who are getting their thing this week, they've been waiting for this for over a year, right?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's
Oh, yeah.
nuts. But
Well
now that
over
you
a
got it, now that people got it, now that you're seeing the reviews and like, we'll start, like I'd say over the next 2 weeks, we'll probably start to get the real consensus. Not just the early adopters who've been like talking about it for the past month, but all the different people who've gotten it. They're going to be giving their feedback, and so you'll really know what am I getting with this cabinet. And then with the Double Dragon pre-order drops, it's going to be like, hey, this thing's already on the water. Right? So your pre-order window, instead of being a year, is like, look, here's your container. Come and get it, boys. First come, first serve. When this container sells out, the next one's not coming for 2 more months or whatever it is, right? So I'm very optimistic that the next one's going to sell super well. And I mean, look, even from we're all better right now, right? So like Spreetail's better at how we handle the pre-orders. We're better at the logistics of it. Bobby's a little bit better on Double Dragon than he was on Street Fighter. Sean's a little bit better. Ryan's a little bit like everybody who's involved in this process is a little bit better today than we were 2 years ago, right? So like, of course, Double Dragon's going to be a knockout. Right, and whatever else comes out.
I pray you guys will be sold out. You better get on it. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna go hot. It's gonna go hot. I'm actually
eBay price is gonna go skyrocketing right now on Double Dragon. I have to release it.
Yeah, B Kirby's gonna buy the first 300 of them, and then he's gonna put them all on eBay for $100 more, just for all the haters who didn't click fast enough.
The site's gonna crash. You watch.
It's gonna crash.
Nobody's gonna be able to pre-order it.
My goodness.
So the 2 questions he had were related to timing and free shipping. I feel like these are all questions someone who might be interested in purchasing a product would ask.
Yeah. So on our pre-orders, I'll do the same thing we did before. The costing will include shipping, and I'll keep Canada covered in the pre-orders. Make sure you guys are getting what you need.
Let's see. Yeah. Just go back through. Yeah. Another congrats on the launch. He's saying, morning, guys. That tells me it might be you across the pond. Scotty Retro, be curious to know. But thank you for joining us.
Murph Dog 24, I think the next set of orders probably within the next week or two. I'll make sure to drop Paul a note so he can get it posted. Let the people know. But first, the first things first. I need to know every pre-order customer has been taken care of. That there's no loose ends. That no one. It'd be one thing if it was like you pre-ordered like a month ago and like the next shipment's coming in like a week. but these are guys and gals who've been waiting for over a year for a product. Like, they will be 100% taken care of before I send another unit anywhere, right? So we're not gonna have any more. We're not gonna leave this pre-order experience on a bad note for anybody. That's the way it's gonna work.
Well, and the funny thing too is even within the past couple of days that we've been talking about, we're literally talking about a span of 4 to 5 days in terms of the first pre-order shipping out to the last one, which is not. It's tough for people that were on the back end on the one hand and that maybe felt like they didn't get communication that they wanted. But in the grand scheme of things, a 4 or 5 day window to get all the orders out, we've seen a lot worse in the past. I'll just put it that way. So
I think the only reason it even really took so long is because the software to do the pre-order piece with Shopify, it's a third party. Like, we write all our own software. That's why, like, we're so fast at what we do normally. As soon as you bring in a third party software and bolt it onto what you're doing, if there's something in that doesn't read right, it takes really smart people a few minutes, like, Ryan, how often do you snap your fingers? And the software is just like, oh, I know what you wanted to do. There you go. Have a great evening, right? Like,
if only it were that easy.
Sometimes it does take a minute, and and unfortunately, it was affecting the people who were there from the very, very beginning. Whereas the recent pre-orders, we didn't do partial payments. We didn't have the additional discount, which created all these different lines of code. So they were able to process a lot faster. That doesn't make you feel better if you still haven't got your unit, but I mean, I told you guys I'd tell you the truth. Well, we had a lot of factors. We had a pre-order, we had to pay, and we had a $150 discount for some of us, and that's, I gotta imagine that's relatively complicated compared to a typical order. So without like nerding out too much, I actually had to sit in on software calls, which, Paul, I am not that advanced in my knowledge of things. But essentially what happened is when we had the discount and then there was also the pre-order piece, the software was telling our system essentially that there was a new part number, and that part number that was getting sent to our system was balance remaining after $150 discount. Like, that was the name of the part number, and that's what was getting sent down. You might be surprised to know I don't have an item in my system called balance after $150. So that was getting kicked down, and then that was blocking it, so our software guys had to go back through and essentially give it away to get in. So does that make you feel better? Probably not. If I'm a customer, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, bullshit. Where's my game, right? And like, I feel you. Like, yeah.
And ironically,
how I feel too.
the irony is because you did pre-order it versus maybe a year and a half ago, even compared to some people that were relatively late in the game, and they're getting theirs. You're not able to do your reviews and whatever. I get it. That's
well, and even like little things like the pre-order software wasn't really expecting that the pre-order was from last year. So like when the system went in and scooped it all out, it was defaulting to this year. It's like, oh, there's only a few orders. It's like, no, it's got to go back in the time machine. Like, we've been doing this for a while now, So it was kind of, we were finally paying for all the sins of the past year and a half, and just working through those finally in the system. And like I said, it doesn't make it better. It's not an excuse. I'm just telling you guys what happened. Otherwise, people are like, "Oh, what were they doing? Were they?" I don't know. I can't even make up the conspiracies because they get so fantastic.
Well, and the next one's not going to have all these complications. Double Dragon's not going to be nearly as complicated.
It's not. We're not doing the pre-orders till the containers are at least at the port. So like that takes out one huge barrier. We're not doing partial payments. So you don't have that. And since the order's not going to get delayed, we're not going to have to slap a discount on top of it, right?
Right.
And your time from pre-order to your house is like 2 months, or less, as opposed to a year and a half. So I think all those things it puts the process into a box. And from a process standpoint, that's what you want. You don't want to have to manage all these exceptions. So,
but also as just a point of perspective, as one of those people that fell into the bucket of pre-order to pay and $150 discount, I am perfectly fine getting my unit at the end of the week instead of the beginning of the week and saving $150 in the process, because that means I got a really good cabinet for $550. There's
Well,
nothing.
It got said on the show. As soon as you open your box, as soon as getting the box inside is going to suck. So I'm not going to say as soon as you walk outside and see it. The next 15 minutes of your life still suck. But once you get that box to the room where you're going to put this thing together and you open it up and you take out that first panel, you take out the first panel and you just see that blue and that contrast and you see the brush strokes and everything else. And like you take it out and you're just going to you're going to get goosebumps. And it's just okay, I don't remember the past year and a half now. This thing's real.
Right.
And you'll start putting it together. And as soon as you turn it on, you'll install 38 patches that Ryan's working diligently on.
I'm pretty sure he's doing one right now. He's probably working on the.
He's just released another patch.
Yeah, right.
He caught me.
He did that while I was answering questions, probably too. He's that good. But in all seriousness, a $550 cabinet of this level probably will never happen again, honestly, because the weird circumstances involved. So, I'm not saying it makes up for all the other stuff, but at the end of the day, yeah, I'm going to be pretty darn happy getting this for $550. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should let Ryan get back to doing the thing that John pays him for.
Yeah, Ryan needs to get back to coding.
Of course.
Yes. But yeah, anyway, so I know we had to say goodbye to Sean already, but Ryan, Bobby, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a thrill.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thrill to meet you guys and get to talk about the project. From everything I've seen and heard, it's awesome, and I can't wait to see what's next. So having you guys on the team doing it gives me a whole lot of confidence.
And seriously, your guys' attention to detail, that's what shows in the machine. I've said this to everybody everywhere. There's nothing and I don't mean this in a bad way, there's nothing revolutionary about the machine. There's not some magical part that no one's ever thought of. It's just that each detail is executed right. And that is just a result of your guys' meticulous nature and just constantly going back and making it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. That's what makes this machine as good as it is. It's like I said, it's not some fancy part or something that's never been done before. It's the details and the attention to that detail that put this thing over the top. And so thank you guys for all your hard work, for your dedication, and honestly for being good at what you do. Some people work hard and they suck. You guys work hard and you make magic, right? So hats off to you. Keep doing it, and we'll keep buying them. So keep going.
Ryan's a man. I'm telling you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, Ryan, you're the hero of the day, right?
Thanks.
Sure are. Well,
I
all right.
appreciate that.
Thank you again, guys. With that, we're going to let everybody get back to it tonight. And
Before anything, I want to say thank you to my boy John D. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Peter, CEO, and Bianca. Thank you guys. And also the guy who made my logo, the originator, Mr. Profit, Mr. I can never forget about you. My logo right here, Mr. Profit. And my boy Angel, aka Disability. Not that, Scotty Retro, my man. Scotty, I know you're watching. Thank you, brother. You've been on my side over on hard times. Right? And to the fans.
There you go.
And Arcade Insider, Ryan, Sean Missel.
Yeah.
All the team in Discord. Too many names.
Too many names.
You forgot to thank got to thank the Academy yet.
Yeah.
Hold up your.
So thank everybody, the fans. Stick with me. Trust me, guys. I'm in the business. It's a real deal. I get things in perfection. I would test all of this before you even come out to the market. I will approve it. Okay, okay,
Beautiful.
guys.
Bobby.
It will
Yep.
be the best. No more errors. No more mistakes. No more this and that.
John's like, stop promising things. Stop promising. No, we appreciate that, Bobby, though, seriously. And Ryan, keep up the great work. So,
Yes, Ryan. Ryan's a man. Ryan's a man.
Yeah.
I worked with Ryan before. Oh, he's. Ryan's the software. I'm the hardware. I'm kind of like a little. I'm a software too, but Ryan's is like beyond the software. Oh my good Lord, Jesus, he's the guy. Yes,
you guys
I do
are
software, but
converts.
I would like to learn from Ryan too one day, right?
There we go.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for hopping along for the ride. We'll see you next week at 8, 7 Central.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Bye, everyone.